Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Hand Cut Dovetails. And I have a feeling that this one could be the best try yet. So we're going to start here by actually just marking out the depth that you want to cut to. So that's going to be right out there. We're just going to take the exact depth of that. So now we're going to come in here and we're going to measure with the square. We're just going to see how far we want to come in. So if we want to come in, let's just say 1/2 inch on either side here. That looks good, and then we'll get our dovetail jig. I'll get the 7 degrees side, come down then, just like that. And we'll trace in there. Come along again. The other side here. There we go. Just like that. And we're gonna mark the width that we want it to be at the base. So we'll just make them each, see, right out there, and then right out there. Here we go. So we'll come along again. Just gonna use the opposite sides we did before. This simple little jig that you can make out of a piece of wood very quickly makes the process not only a lot faster, but a lot more foolproof. Because if you're like me and you have next to no experience, this should make the project a lot easier. So we'll come along here then with a 90 degrees side, and we'll trace that. Trace along there, along there. We'll just use the square for these last two. Come in right across there. Right across there. And then we have our marking done for our first dovetail here, so we can throw it up in the vise. So next we're going to come along with a chisel, and we're just going to mark out exactly where we want it so that our saw kind of has a place to ride in. This can be a little bit difficult going in the end grain, but it can be done. There we go. Make sure you face away. Make sure you face the bevel of the chisel away from whatever you're going to be cutting for your first one. And then just remove a little bit of material then. Just come back in. There we go. Come back then. Bada bing. And then, there we go. Okay, so we can come in with the Japanese saw then, and we can just cut down to our line there. This one is not going to be quite as important where you cut as the others, because the other side will be based off of these then. Once we're down to our line, then we can stop. We'll cut this one next. Very nice. Come back in again. There we go. This side, same angle. Very nice. Then we're gonna come in on each side then with the same exact saw, just to cut out the bit of waste on these other ones. And then we'll use the coping saw in the middle then to cut that out. There we go. Okay, we're gonna do the exact same thing on this side. And we're just gonna cut down here till we got our waste removed. And come in with the coping saw then. And cut out this middle bit right here. Okay, so for this next step, you're gonna make sure your chisels are nice and sharp, and you're just gonna pare into the edges here. And you're just going to make sure that everything is nice and flat and square. Some of this you can do by hand, some of it you can do with a mallet, just to make sure the sides are a little bit more uniform. And come right down to that line. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna clean up over here then. This one doesn't need quite as much. And then in the middle here can be one of those challenging areas to clean up. You get a little bit of a thinner chisel. I went from a 3/4 to a 1/4 now. So just gonna carefully clean up the bottom of the edge here. I have to remember to not go out too far. To avoid tear out. And then there we go. That looks over here. Let's just let's clean up a little bit more down here. That doesn't look perfect just yet. Alright, so now we can trace out our dovetails onto our other piece here. So we can go ahead and we can use a little blade here because that's going to give us a more precise line. Of exactly what we need to go here. And then you can just kind of sort of trace those out. Once everything is done getting marked out, then after you trace down to how far you're going to need to cut, you can come in then and cut those lines. Okay, so once we are cut down to our lines, then we're going to want to remove the middle pieces here. And we're going to use our coping saw once again for that. There we go then. Same thing on this side. There we are. We're going to do that on this one. There we go. Together then we can just do a final little bit of cleanup with the chisel and just pare that down so that it should be a perfect match. Should be a perfect match with our other piece that we cut out earlier. Okay, so then we can get our other piece then. Once we have our fit down. And then hopefully we can just set that up here. Our mallet. And actually we're going to tap down onto it like this. I think this should work a little bit better. I think this should give us a little bit of a better fit. So we're going to tap down on here. Tap down here. And then there we go. We got our dovetails all finished up there. As you can see, pretty big ugly gap there. That's not the absolute nicest. I would say it does fit together a little bit better than our last attempt. And it is looking pretty similar to the first one. You see kind of some of the gaps there. But I would say this one is pretty good, except for that one really big gap there. But I'm sure we could take care of that on our next try. And eventually I'll get to that toolbox. So thanks, guys.